So we're live. Hello, it's John Gibbons and Craig Cannon, and we are coming at you through lots of different platforms, and we're just going to have a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a preview about today's game. Craig, how are you feeling about it? How are your nerves when you woke up first thing?
I don't know, to be honest. It sort of chops and changes as I read more things. I'm sort of finding myself walking around the house aimlessly, not knowing what to do with myself. I think we're all just sort of waiting now, aren't we? It's like that anticipation, but it feels good to have that feeling now. Like for quite a few games through lockdown, because there's no fans there, you feel a bit disconnected from it. Doesn't feel the same. It just felt like a football match that you were watching, and this one feels like a proper event, doesn't it? Today, obviously, like the manner of it, us both at the top of the table, sort of adds a different dimension to it. But I'm excited. I'm excited more than anything, John. How are you feeling about it?
Good, yeah, all right, yeah. It feels good to have like such a big game, isn't it, as well? And I know a lot of people have saying like this season, it feels kind of strange because so much of it's behind closed doors, and pretty much all of it has been, hasn't it? Give or take a few games where a few thousand people went in, and obviously last season was all about finishing it and getting it done, and just being rightly sort of crowned champions that we knew we already were. Whereas for this season, it has felt like it's been drifting along a little bit, but that Man United was, to go 3 points clear, certainly sharpened the mind, didn't it? And it's all a bit out of figures ever since, really. It's funny, we just went to the park just for a bit of a walk, and like some fella just walked past me and went, "Big game today, lad." That's all he said. And it's just like, I love it when Liverpool's like that. It's like, you obviously like things are closed at the moment, so it's just sort of parks. But I love it when like you're going into shops and whatever, and everyone's just talking about the game. Like that's where you've got a big game coming, and when it's a lot riding on it, and also that Liverpool are in the mix as well, because if this was 58th, none of us would care. So, but it's a top of the table clash, and that's what it's all about, and that's where Liverpool should be, and Man United will feel the same. But well, we'll see who's top by 8 o'clock, mate. Eh?
Yeah, I think it's been a strange one talking to some United fans as well, and sort of hearing a couple of them on the podcast, and I feel like it's a bit of a litmus test for them, in that like none of us really know just how good United are at the moment. Like obviously they're top, but they seem to just sort of find themselves there. They're winning by sort of one goal. A couple of late wins. Liverpool obviously having a bit of a slump over the past 3 or 4 games, and City are just sort of in the background building a little bit of momentum, and that adds another sort of little dynamic to it in the background. Like I'm going into this not really knowing just how good United are, and hoping and praying that we see the Liverpool that we've all sort of known and loved over the past year or two. Because if we see that Liverpool side, then it really feels like we can sort of lay down a marker today, and it can be a jumping off point. Because, which sounds like a mad thing to say when you're just 3 points behind first, but just because of the nature of the last few games, and how we've looked blunt, and it just hasn't, the front three haven't been on it, and obviously we've been chopping and changing at the back because we have no actual centre defenders. It just feels like we need something, don't we? We need something to sort of go, right, here we go, because there's a league to be won here. Like this league is waiting for someone to build momentum and take it by the scruff of the neck, and hopefully it begins today with a Liverpool win.
Yeah, let's all hope so. Everyone seems confident in the comments anyway. Liam Silver from Nigeria saying Liverpool 3-1 victories. Pete Kent to say, we've got this, believe. Pete, I believe, don't worry about it. I believe in the boys. And, Craig mentioned the centre-half talk there. And, we all believe, don't worry. But I think we'd all believe a little bit more if we see Joe Matip running out and looking good. I mean, listen, I've just been spending 15 minutes watching Virgil van Dijk do keepy-ups. So, I reckon he'll be sound for City, to be honest with you. Give him 10 minutes at the end of the United Cup game and then he'll be sound. But we'll all feel a lot better if it's lovely Joel Matip and his calm face running out today, won't we, mate?
100%. I think the last 4 or 5 games, it has felt like Liverpool have been blunt, and there's been a lot of talk around around the fact that we don't have any centre backs, and it hasn't so much been that we've been really poor defensively. It's just that when you defend from the front and attack from the back, and you play in that way whereby your centre backs usually are spreading out wide to your wing backs who are pushing up, and they're pushing up because they trust those two at centre back, and they know that Jordan Henderson will be able to fill in for them when he's playing defensive midfield and so on. when you lose one of those sort of components, or in our case, two of those components, then it becomes more difficult for the entire team. And I think that's one of the reasons we have looked blunt in that, Trent hasn't really been himself. We haven't seen as many assists from Andy Robertson, and obviously the goals have we're just not creating enough clear-cut chances. And I think what we're all hoping for today is Joel Matip to be back in the side. But then what that means is you've got lovely Thiago Alcantara sitting in front of him, and then you've got Henderson and Wijnaldum, and what a midfield that is. And I think that'll just sort of lift everyone. But yeah, it's a big day for the front three as well. In that, like, they'll be dying to sort of silence any talk around them being blunt, and I feel a bit sorry for them over the past few games, and that I sort of feel like we just haven't created enough for them anyway, that we've been relying on them to try and find little pockets of space and get little sort of half chances and take them. And we did that against Palace 7 times, and that none of the goals that felt were really clear cut. They were all brilliant goals, but since then we've just sort of it's petered out a little bit. But the things I would do an hour before kick off: Joel Matip, absolute flares in the
Pino and Craig's later. When you see Wavertree a light later on, it's because Craig's got all excited. Could happen. I think, you mentioned the front three, and the last few games they haven't quite fired. It'll be interesting to see how they've used this break. To me, they've had a decent little break without games now. The last one was Aston Villa, and that ended up being a bit of a sort of an exhibition match, but that was 9 days ago. And then there was a bit of a gap before that, and there's a lot of talk with Klopp that he was going to use the time to just try and get out with them, going again a lot of 11 matches in training where they were going to work on shape of passages of play and things like that, and just get the the relationship going with the guys again, and just get our fluidity going and get a little bit. And that's what I want to see, a start fast, but I'd like to see the passing a bit crisper, and just all a bit sharper, and just asking a few more questions of the opposition than what we have over the last few games. It's just looked a bit easy, if anything, to play against Liverpool, which is so rare. Whereas we know when we're at our best, especially at Anfield, it's the hardest place in the world to come in. So that's what I'm hoping to see today. But as you say, those front players, if we can get creating chances for them again, then you know what they can do, because we've got to remember Mo Salah's still Premier League top goal scorer. Everyone's making noises about Harry Kane and other lads and stuff like that, but it's still Mo right at the top. So the guys are informed. The guys have shown plenty this season. We just need to make sure that we're creating for them. But I'm really hopeful. I think they're going to be bang up for it, and that's what I'd say, Craig, is that we've been having conversations in the week. A few of us around. I wish we could get in the ground and give them a lift, and all that. Or wish people could be there, whether it's us or whoever, really, to let them know we're with them. But I think for them, they're going to be bang up for this. They know what a big game it is, and they won't be they won't be desperate to hand back that title, you know what I mean, just after one season, especially to Mancunians.
No, definitely not. And I think in the past, at times when we've had these sort of prolonged breaks, Liverpool have come back a little bit slow, and it's felt like at times you think, oh well, they've got this time now for recuperation, and then they go into the game and it's a bit flat to begin with. But I think the difference this time is usually that happens when we've just been on a great run after Christmas, or we've had momentum going into the game, and at this time it's like we don't have any of that. We obviously, you beat Villa in the cup, but it was Villa kids. It's not something that you can hang your hat on and say, right, this is a turning point. So hopefully today is that turning point, and I think it will be. I think you're right. They'll be bang up for it. This Liverpool side, they love playing with adversity. They love when when their backs are up against the wall. That we've called them the mentality monsters and celebrated them as such over the past 2 or 3 years. So now's not the time to start doubting them, really, and they'll want to put the recent form right. And that's why I've sort of believed that this is the perfect game. Like, even after United go top after beating Burnley in midweek, when that happened, I thought, well, do you know what? Brilliant, because then we can sort of put them back in their box at the weekend, and if we don't, then it's on us. There are no sort of excuses here, and I think there is a little bit of pressure on Liverpool, I think, today. Because I mean I didn't realise until on midweek that United would be 3 points clear, and that winning today we level in points, but obviously a superior goal difference, and that sort of adds a little bit of pressure in that. I think that, I don't think for a second United will come into this game and go at us. I think we'll sort of see. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will try and do a bit of a Fergie in what Fergie had done in the past, where he'd frustrate us and hope to hit us in the break, or hit us from a corner, or just a half chance here and there. And it's just up to Liverpool to play their game and get at them and create chances, because if Liverpool create better chances than they have done over the past 4 or 5 games, then I have no doubt that they'll win this fixture. And even sort of looking at the squad, if Matip is back, and we've seen players like Shaqiri sort of come back in over the past few weeks. I don't think he'll start, but he's the perfect player to come on sort of 60 if you are struggling to break them down. And we've seen sort of countless examples of that over the season. So yeah, it's a big one. Pressure on Liverpool slightly, but I think they'll thrive under that pressure.
Yeah, I think they'll thrive under the pressure as well, and this is what they want, and this is the team that they've shown themselves to be over the last couple of years, and so I think maybe more arguably sort of what they've needed so far, really, and a bit more feeling like it's riding on it. And I think this is where the team really kind of comes alive. Just checking a few more of the comments here on Facebook. Loads of people really confident. Loads of people saying, especially if we get big Joel in there, sort of should be fine, and believing in the boys, which is great to see the sort of positivity. Point from David Brown here: check out United's foul stats. So 22 against Villa. Every time Villa tried to break them, they were sort of bringing them down. He says expect Thiago to get McTominay in the first couple, and then Fred and the rest to take the turns. Ref needs to not be an asshat, he says, which is not a word I use a lot, but David used it there. And it's interesting one with the referee, isn't it, Craig, because there's been a lot of ref chat over the last couple of days, a lot of a few retired refs wading in on columns and things like that, and it's you almost want it to be sort of out of referees' hands. If you're talking about referees after the game, then it's normally, because they've, done something wrong, or it's been too much of a big thing. And I love a VAR for the afternoon. I'd love just an afternoon where you can just see Liverpool are so much better than them. We're not having to worry about certain things or what refs are and are doing. It'd be lovely to just have an old school 3-0 win with all the goals we can celebrate and everything's rosy. That's the dream.
Old school. I haven't seen too many 3-0 wins against United down the years. Yeah, I know exactly.
3-1
I know exactly what you're meaning, and yeah, it would be exhausting if after the game we're having to watch Sky talk about VAR in the same way that in other big games the Everton one afterwards was deflating because Liverpool were brilliant in that game and deserved the win, but you don't get it. And yeah, hopefully, I think that I think there's enough to motivate this Liverpool side. No, it's not just going top of the table. It's not just laying a marker down, but it's bringing your old enemy down to earth again and sort of reevaluating where they are and reaffirming just how good Liverpool are on their day. And that's what's sort of been missing over the past month, which feels strange in January because usually Liverpool have had a great sort of Christmas under Jurgen Klopp and you're bouncing into January and this time it's different. But like I said, the league's wide open. Like maybe in previous years, if we had have dropped the points that we have, we'd be miles off it. But we're near the top, and it's still firmly in Liverpool's hands if they can get the win today and then push on from there.
Yeah, fairly in Liverpool's hands, absolutely. Some big games coming up. Obviously the United one, City come to Anfield too. They've got to go to Tottenham, which should be tough, but we know we've had the better of them recently, and so it's the time for Liverpool to be laying these markers down. It's a time, for us to be showing our class, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will today, and we've got a really big day ahead in terms of the Anfield Wrap. Just sort of keep you in the loop and sort of what we're doing. So we're on Hot Mic all afternoon. So the women's team have got a big game as well, and so we'll be covering that. That's a 2:00 kickoff. It's on the FA Player if anyone wants to watch it, but you can watch along with us on Hot Mic. If you've never downloaded the Hot Mic app, it is completely free. Just put the code in, Anfield Wrap, when prompted with the code, and then it's completely free, and you can join us from anything we do on there, not just the games today, but I say we'll be doing the women from 2. They're playing Leicester City, who are top of the division at the moment, and then obviously Liverpool v Man United from about sort of 4:15 for the 4:30 kickoff, and then straight after the game with the post-match stuff. So I'll be hosting the audio post-match show. Robbo's hosting the post-match pints, which is the video version. And so busy day, loads of great stuff going on. And I'm just hoping, Craig, that those post-match shows are a riot. You know what I mean? I'm hoping for the big get-in from Robbo. I'm hoping for a few slurred words from me, and it'd just be lovely. You know, we're going to be in our houses, unfortunately, not bouncing down to Pogue Mahomes on a Sunday night. But you know, it'd be lovely to have a big celebration tonight as Liverpool go back to the top of the league. That's what I want all our content to be later.
Oh, mate, I know. I've enjoyed the preview stuff. Like Robbo and Neil did a really good preview show as well, and there was a fiery team talk show that was done on Friday involving Kev Walsh. But you know, oh God, you're right. I think we all need a lift as well, don't we? Like we've relied on this Liverpool side throughout the pandemic to bring us the little bit of joy and the glimmer of hope, and it'd be brilliant today just to get that and ahead of a huge run of games, by the way. Like the next 3-4 days are insane if you look at the fixtures. I had a little look the other day, and like I messaged Neil just to say, like, have you seen this? Of course he had. He loves the fixture list. He can reel them off by heart. But yeah, you know, this is hopefully the start of it today, and some big celebrations from our living rooms later on. Like, to be honest, like what I'm sort of, I don't know what to do myself in. I don't know whether I should have a way to calm the nerves, or I think sort of this is half the reason why I'm doing this with you, John, is to keep myself off the beer for another 45 minutes.
It's funny,
What
yeah.
time are you
Coldie's
starting?
Park before. I don't know. I think I'm going to try and stay off it for the women's game and just sort of do it with a coffee or something, and then get into it 4 o'clock. I think, because anything else, then I'll just be wild on this post-match show, whatever the score is. Do you know what I mean? And so
Give the people what they want, John.
I mean, they want to understand it, I think, best they can. So yeah, we'll see. I can't drink anymore anyway. We're all out of practice, aren't we? Do you know what I mean?
I know. We had a subscriber drink the other night, and I had like 4 cans of Candles, and was like, "Oh, here we go." And they're only weak cans as well. But yeah, it's I think I am predicting a Liverpool win, and I know you can sort of make yourself seem or look silly in these things, especially sort of 2.5 hours before kickoff when you're saying it. But you know, this Liverpool side have rarely let us down, and I don't see them doing that again today. And you know, when you look back at the big matches this season, you know, by and large they've been brilliant. You think of Arsenal, you think of Chelsea, even the City game, they were great in the first half, and sort of I think everyone was just knackered by the end. And you know, so I expect to see a similar sort from them today. And I'm just excited to see Thiago, to be honest. Like, I don't think I keep forgetting. You know, the way, like, for a while it didn't feel as if he was a real thing. Like you'd sort of like, you know, he just was never around, and we were constantly waiting for him to come in. And we've seen over the past couple of games what he can bring, the little, you know, the little ball inside the defender that doesn't seem on, and means it doesn't go out wide and crossed in aimlessly. It's, you know, it breaks down the midfield, and it's just a ball that's arrowed through. And I want to see more of those. That's what I'm excited about, especially against this United midfield as well, because someone mentioned there in the comments about, you know, about what their tactics, that, you know, the kind of tactics that they might employ in this game. And you know, when you look at the midfield of Fred, probably Fred, McAtominay, and Fernandes, like bar Fernandes, you know, just that's a bit of a sort of a shithousing midfield, isn't it? And you know, if we can get those three of Thiago, Henderson, and Wijnaldum in there, you really, really fancy us, don't you? So, yeah, I'm buzzing now. I'm buzzing. But bring on you, Manchester United.
I'm glad you're buzzing. Everyone buzzing in the comments as well. Chris Dunn said, tops off for Thiago, John. I mean, well, yeah, to be honest with you.
Promises high. Promise win. We want
if Thiago bags, yeah, close at a distant memory. I'm telling you. We shall see. Matthew reckons Liverpool win today 3-1. A few 3-1 shouts to bin. Obviously, that's been the score last couple of years. David Brown said that their first halves are terrible. If we start this quickly, we'll be done by half time. I mean, that's it, Craig, isn't it? It's when I've watched United recently, you know, they've got this good away record, but you know, a few times, you know, they were 2-0 down against Southampton, had to sort of fight back. And I know there's been sort of a couple of games like that where it's just sort of been a good 10 minutes from them, and they've managed to score, and they've got firepower in the team. But this Liverpool team can dominate Man United, and that's what I'll be looking for, especially early, if we can get on top of them. And then so if they manage to have a little late flurry, then it doesn't matter then, does it? If we do our business when we're on top, and we make sure that that we're doing what we should be doing, then they can play who they want up front, and you know what I mean. They can bring the shooting midfield they want, but that's all. What I want to see is us getting right on top of them. Making sure we're dominating, but most importantly, making sure we're making the most of it when we do.
Yeah, runners from midfield, balls in behind, and sort of giving our forwards the opportunity to bag. I keep thinking about like little Shaqiri and sort of getting excited about wee Shaq, but then I almost don't want to see him, because if we do see him, it means that we're sort of struggling to break them down, and that we're throwing on because we need him to create near the end, unless he starts them, which would be wild, but I don't think he will. But yeah, I think if Liverpool sort of play their game and do the business today, I almost think if United get a little bit confident or come into the game, with the confidence that they do and believe that they can maybe get at us, I think it actually might help us, in that, if they try and play us at our game, we'll win that game. So the last thing I want is it 0-0 on 70, because I think that's the stage where United will sort of go, right, I'm all right with that. I think they'll be happy enough with the draw, and it's up to Liverpool to ensure that the game doesn't come to that, and that we not do the business early, but get a goal in the first half, and make there be a game that United come out, and then we'll pick them off exactly like we did last season with Salah right at the end. And watching all of the videos as well, it is one of those where it's like, oh, imagine welcoming United to Anfield, first time in my lifetime as champions, and just being able to sort of crow for most of the game. It would have been gorgeous, but it's not the case. There's bigger problems in the world at the minute than worrying about that, and hopefully Liverpool can brighten our day today.
Someone is worried about my coffin. It's not that. It's my missus cooking. She's burnt all this cumin, and it's got all in my eyes and everything. So don't worry. I don't need a late fitness test. I'll be fine as soon as we can clear this mad mist that's in this house. So yeah, no, all good. Yeah, a lot of people confident there. I saw John Mag saying 4-0. Shaqiri to go off the bench to score 2. Don't worry. So that's good. I reckon John Mags has started on the ale. That's it. That's the confidence.
Fair play to him. I don't know what I would do if that happens. What do you do? Like, this is one of the problems as well. Imagine you do win 4-0. Shaqiri comes on, bags 2. What do you do with yourself afterwards? Just bouncing about your living room. I mean, that will be one to get on the post-match content if we manage that. But I mean, I'd take a 1-0 at the moment. I'd just take it. Just fucking win, Liverpool.
I'm sure they will. Listen, I'll just go through all that stuff we're doing today, all the activities today. So in about half an hour or so, we'll be on doing hot mic of the women's game. So Liverpool are playing Leicester City. We'll be on doing hot mic of that. There's 4 of us on, and then straight after that, Liverpool Man United. We'll be doing the hot mic again. So if you're not downloaded the hot mic app, get it on your phone. It's completely free. Just use the code Anfield Wrap when prompted, and yeah, get involved with us for commentary for either or both of those big massive games. And yeah, it'll be partisan as anything. Don't you worry. And it'll be really good fun. Myself and Neil, and I'll say a couple of others for the women's game as well. But then straight after the game, post-match show that I'm hosting, post-match pint with Robbo. So yeah, and hopefully it'll be all jubilant. So it's a great time to subscribe to the Anfield Wrap if you don't. All the social as well. Make sure you're following us on there, because I'm sure all the team have got loads of great stuff planned there. And yeah, just enjoy it best we can. I suppose, Craig, innit? Enjoy it best we can, mate.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed for 3 points. Fingers crossed for Liverpool being top of the league at the end of the day, and fingers crossed for tops off for Thiago John to be nude on the post-match content.
5-1. I'll give you 5-1 nudity.
I think evens. Evens if Thiago scores, then yeah, to absolute tops off everywhere. But yeah, fingers crossed. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds. Nice one. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your day best you can. And yeah, fingers crossed for the tops off for Thiago.